Hello everyone, so today we are going to do a greedy problem. I'll quickly explain you the problem and then we'll see the solution. So this is also known as an activity selection problem. The problem is that there is a meeting room and you are given some meeting timings in the form of two different arrays like start and end timings, and there is only one meeting that can happen in this room at a particular time. So you need to find out what are the maximum meetings that can happen in this room. Okay, I hope you understood the problem. So the end time and start time of these meetings cannot be same. For example, if suppose one meeting is from 9 to 10 and another starts from 10 to 12, so this is a invalid timing. So either one can happen because we need to the start and end dates can end time cannot be same. So this is the problem. Now I'll just in two lines quickly summarize the algorithm and then we'll see how we can implement it. Okay, so algorithm goes like this, that first we'll sort these pairs by the end time, and then so you can think, right, if you are suppose having two meetings, right, 10 and 9 to 10 and 11 to 12. So what is the possibility that both these meeting can happen in the same meeting room? So you basically need to compare the start time of the next meeting with the end time. If the start time is greater than the end time, then this can happen because there is no overlap, right? So we are using the same technique here. We have sorted by the end time, right? So we know that the previous end time of the meeting will be obviously less than the current end time. So now what we'll do is we'll find the first meeting that does not overlap. And how we can find that? So basically we'll traverse in the right direction and we'll see what the start time which is greater than the previous meeting end time. So for example, you have decided that this meeting is going to happen, right? So now you need to find the next meeting whose start time is greater. So for example, I'll give you a small example. Suppose you have meeting timings like that. You have meeting timings from 9 to 15, and then you have a meeting because we have sorted in form of end time, right? So suppose this happens from 14 to 13 to 16, and then this happens from 13 to say 19, and then this happens from 16 to say 22, right? So now these are sorted in form of end time, but you can see that these two meetings kind of overlaps with the meeting that we have already planned will happen. So you are basically finding the first meeting that is a valid meeting, such that its start time is greater than the previous meeting time. For example, you can see here the 16 is greater than 15. So this is a very simple problem. So this is the code. Now let's just dry run with the help of example that we have shown here. Uh, First step first, let's sort this in by the end time. So let's just first sort this. This will be 4, this will be 6, now 8 will come, sorry, now 7 will come, now 8 will come, and now 9 will come, and consecutively we will not sort the start, but the pair will retain. So 4 will be with 0, 6 will be with 5, 7 is with 6, 8 is with 4, and 9 is with 8, right? So now we have sorted in the form of end time. Now we'll go to the next step. So before starting the loop, what we will decide is the first pair that we have will have the meeting. So this is the first meeting that we are going to have. So let's just store the previous end time here because we need to compare that. So the last meeting that was happening has the end time of 4. Now let's just traverse and find the next meeting such that its start time is greater than the end time. So now we come here. Now we see that the start time is greater than the end time, that is 5 is greater than the 4. So this meeting will also come in the picture and our previous end will be now become 6 because the last meeting is 5 to 6. Now let's again come to the next meeting. We see that the start time, which is 6, is equal to the end time, which is 6. So this meeting we will not consider, so this will not come into picture. Then again we'll go and we'll see that this 4 is not greater than 6, so this will also be neglected, this will also not come here. So as we are not adding any more meetings, we are not updating the previous end. Now we come to the last meeting and this condition is satisfied. We see that this 8 is basically greater than the 6. So now we can add this 8 to 9 meeting and the previous end will be updated to 9. And also while we are adding these meetings, so there are two questions that can be asked. Either you need to print out these meetings or you need to print out the number of meetings. So you can have a count variable, say x, and you can increment whenever you are getting the meetings or whenever this second condition is satisfied, and at the end you can simply return this x. So just in a moment we'll also see the code and we'll see the execution, but before that I'll just tell you the variations of these questions. So this is pretty standard greedy problem. It can be asked in multiple ways, like for example it can be asked like a person can do multiple tasks. So you have the task duration or task end time and start time, and you have just only one person that is going to do this task. So you will have to find out that how many maximum number of tasks that person can complete. So basically, to understand or to recognize this kind of problem, you should have something called start and end values of some particular thing, and you should the question should ask you to find the maximum number of tasks to be completed or maximum number of things to be done, something like that. So you can see the variations of these questions. This is a pretty standard problem. Now let's just go to the code and see how we can execute these two steps. Great, if you're still with me with this video, that means you are understanding this problem. So let's just see the code and compile it. So first I told you that we need to sort in terms of end date. How will you do that? Because in the question you are given two different values or two different arrays. So one method is that you can simply apply the sort algorithm. Like you can manually write the sort function where you are comparing the end time, but also whenever you are swapping the end array values, you are also swapping the start values. A easier way would be to use STL. So what I have done is I have made a vector of pair. So whenever if you have seen my STL videos, you will be really familiar with how these things are used. But just to give an overview, if you are having a vector of pair and you apply a sort algorithm, that is a STL based algorithm on this vector, what will happen is this vector will be sorted in the on the basis of the first element that was added in the pair. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm just quickly traversing and pushing this particular pair in the vector. And because we need this vector to be sorted in form of end time, I am firstly pushing the end. Like I'm making a pair such that it is end comma start and not start comma end. For my feasibility, there are multiple other ways, like you can make a structure and then sort it out, but this is the simplest way that I can find. You can also write your function to do the similar task. So once this is done, I'm just quickly sorting this vector. So now my vector will be sorted in the form that we need it, like it will be sorted by the end timing. And remember that we said that the first pair that we are going to get in this sorted form, we are going to say that okay, this meeting will definitely happen. So what I'm going to say is that this is my counter which will actually give me the end result. So what I'm saying is that I will increment it to 1 and then store the previous meeting end, like prev end, to v of 0.first. So remember, if you are having a pair, how will you access those two elements? So it comes to be first and second. So here, because we are having a vector, the first element can be accessed by v of 0, and because this is in itself is a pair, so suppose the first pair is 2 comma 3, how will you access 2? You will access 2 by v.0.first, and similarly if you want to access 3, here this will come out to be second. So if you are getting confused, do watch my STL videos, it will be really clear. So now we'll start, and then what we'll do is we will compare. So this actually I can start from 1 because first index we have already taken into account. So we need to find the start time such that it is greater than the previous end time. So because the start times are stored in the second position of the pair, so I am just simply comparing this with previous end. If this is greater, that means this meeting is also going to be a part of our answer, so I'm simply incrementing the count and the previous end will be updated, and after that I'm just going to return the x. So in case the question demands you to actually print those meetings here, instead of incrementing the x, you can store or print the meeting start and end time, basically the meeting information. So this is the code. Let's just try to run it and see whether it satisfies all the corner edge cases or not. So the sample test case has actually passed. Let's just try to submit it now. Yeah, it has passed. So if you have any other doubts regarding this question, just let me know, and do practice it yourself. It will give you a really good edge. Thank you. Bye bye.